Hello and welcome to the Orange County Crosstalk Show. I'm Alex Bellucci. I'm pleased to have here Serge Tomassian, who was the post president of World Affairs Council, and he also introduced the Canadian ambassador to the World Affairs Council tonight. And I was going to ask you, what was your take of the whole thing? I think it was a wonderful program in the first place, but I just want you to give us a little brief to our audience.
Yes, thank you, Alex. The Canadian ambassador, Gary Dower, I think gave an excellent presentation on the state of U.S.-Canadian relations. And I think what was most significant is that the fact that most Americans, and maybe the world perhaps, don't understand that U.S. and Canada are the biggest trading partners.
Yes.
And that relationship, which is seamless in terms of cooperation with board and so forth, is a very smooth and very well-run operation in terms of business and trade. But I think the ambassador wanted to make a key point about the issue of energy and the pipeline, the Keystone Pipeline. I think that's something the Canadians are pushing for, that America work out the environmental issues so that we can have Canadian oil come here into the United States.
This obviously brings us to energy, because every country I just talked about, or almost every country, is in the Middle East. And Canada believes that we have the ability to have energy independence in this neighborhood of North America by 2020 if we work together on developing it.
And I think the ambassador was very candid that if the Americans aren't willing to work with the Canadians and work out these environmental concerns that some states have in the Midwest, that they will be looking to other countries such as China and India to sell their oil. And so I think while he was engaging and he talked about the relationship, the close relationship, cooperative relationship between the U.S. and Canada, he also articulated that Canada will have an independent policy if need be, if the Americans don't cooperate. And I think that was very, very, very... The other thing to take away from this, Alex, you asked me what I thought was the highlights, and I think when he spoke about health care and he spoke about the Canadian versus the American, he was very careful to state what we do in Canada is for Canadians. What you Americans choose to do is for you. But what works for us is something that they like. And so I think those are interesting points.
Lots of commenting between U.S. and Canadian, especially with the foreign policy, I guess I would say. He touched on Middle East, a little about Iran and the nuclear deal. And can you elaborate a little on that?
Well, I think he articulated the position that I think everyone is happy, at least content, that there's some sort of agreement with the Iranian government to work out this issue about nuclear energy development.
And that brings us to Iran. The agreement that was reached, we hope works, Canada hopes works. We're very skeptical about Iran, about the regime in Iran. But we agree that every diplomatic measure must...
But I think he also expressed a healthy skepticism to make sure that everybody follows through what they promised to do. And I think he articulated that the option, the alternative to peacefully resolving this is a horrendous option with grave consequences for all parties, for the Iranian people, for the Iranian governments, and for other countries. And so I think like most of the world, we're hoping, and I think most people are hoping and praying, that the arrangement reached with the Iranian government is one that will be the correct path to follow, as opposed to the alternative, which, as he said, no one really wants that terrible alternative.
Well, thank you very much. That was a very good take from the talk tonight, and I hope we're going to talk to you more in the next program.
Thank you.
Fresca, pareggianza fresca. about